We'll hear it.
The dream was broken, seemed that all was lost. Would you be the future? Could you pay the cost? Will there ever be a second time around?
Whoa, when it's over and the moment has come. Say, my Lord, I think I found
Yeah, bro, it's Monday Night Raw. We're just we're not hearing anything. It's just all production. The gear's talking.
Step by step, day by day, a fresh start over, a different hand to play. Deeper we fall, the stronger we stay. We'll be better, second time around.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this next guest we have, this is a special Booze and the Dudes. Our next guest is a legendary wrestling promoter here in Southern California. He is the godfather of pro wrestling in SoCal, I would say.
I'd say he's the Vince McMahon of SoCal.
The Vince McMahon of Southern California wrestling. Give it up for Jesse Hernandez, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay.
Thank you, guys. But I'm certainly no Vince McMahon.
Pop dog.
Get them Vince dollars.
And I don't intend to be anything big like that. I have a wrestling school, and the Empire Wrestling Federation was mainly created for our students. And if I really wanted to make it big as a promoter, I won't be using the students that I have. I will be hiring wrestlers that know what they're doing, But no, this is totally different. I don't want to get rich. I can't get rich. I think my job here, with the school and everything, is to have a place for my students to perform, and that's the Empire Wrestling Federation, and that was why it was created.
Well, Jesse, so while we're on the air, I've got I have a list in my head, and I want you to yes or no this, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, these are wrestlers that you either trained or at least helped train. Right. They're now, names.
Right.
Christopher Daniels.
Christopher Daniels came in from Chicago. He was trained there. He, when he first came out to California, the first place that he came to was the School of Hard Knocks.
School of Hard Knocks.
And I remember that day very well. The first day that he came out, he trained with us and made himself available. Hey, if you need me, we had a show the next day. And he said, if you need anybody, so I'll be glad to put anybody over. He came in with a great attitude. And it made me and Bill Anderson, as we were partners at the time, said, let's use this guy. And we used him the very next day.
Okay.
Well, let's back up, because a lot of people that watch this show don't necessarily know the history, that's what I'm saying. You kind of jumping into already our SoCal wrestling fan base.
If I may, my own little introduction. Jesse Hernandez has had a very long and successful career as a professional wrestler, referee, promoter, and has quite a few good acting tags on him. So he's been doing this for a very long time, and the reason that we give him monikers like the Vince McMahon of SoCal is because his promotion, the Empire Wrestling Federation, is, if not the oldest, it is one of the oldest promotions that is still running in California. And I've wrestled up and down this coast, and I've heard about promotions that have been around 7-8 years, but some of them they die down for a year or two and they come back. Jesse, your promotion has been successful, at least since when I got there. You went from having 1 to 2 shows a month to 4 to 5 shows a month, and that has not stopped for at least 10 years.
No, it hasn't.
And of course the promotion's been around since about what, 98, 97?
Well, the Empire Wrestling Federation was created in 1996, if I remember correctly. 1996 will be the year.
Okay, so take us from the beginning. Who trained you? Where was it at? How did it feel?
Well, there was a guy that a friend of mine. He became my friend. I was talking to Hector Guerrero, who was a good friend of mine, and this guy Juan Hernandez comes by, and we're at the lobby at the old San Bernardino Arena, and he tells Hector, Hector Guerrero, he says, "Man, I'd like to get into wrestling. I'd like to get some training." And Hector told him, well, I don't know of anybody out here. The only thing I know is my father's, he's got a promotion in Juarez and he teaches people, but out here I don't know of anybody. And so then Juan said that he had trained a little bit with amateur wrestling, and so I said, hey, listen, man, if you know a little bit of wrestling, I'll be glad to hook up with you, and maybe we can train on, during the week. And we switched numbers. I gave him my number. It took him probably a month, and he called me back, and we started training at the YMCA. And we trained there for almost a year. In the meantime, I was trying to get the great Goliath to come out and watch us, and give us some advice.
I can see it in the frame.
Eventually, we wound up at the San Bernardino Arena. A friend of mine that was he used to sell tickets there during the day before for the evening's event. This is for the old Mike LaBelle promotion, and Jeff Walton was the San Bernardino promoter. And he allowed us to go in for a couple of hours and work and train in the ring. And eventually, I didn't want them or him to get in trouble, so I talked to Jeff Walton, and eventually he allowed us to use the ring. And then shortly after that, maybe months later, finally I convinced Goliath into coming out, and he started training us there. So in reality, we trained for 2 years before our first match. Now these young kids...
Oh, right.
Here's the thing. 'Cause when you do a promotion like this, people don't understand. It's like a difficult thing to manage an event and be successful as you are, and to continue doing it for this many years. Most promotions that run are going to run a few shows.
Oh yeah.
Maybe a few shows. Maybe a year or two. I've seen promotions in your time. You've probably seen a ton of them come and a ton of them go.
Absolutely.
But you've never, like I said, they don't typically stick around for as long as EWF's been a promotion. How long has the EWF been a promotion for?
Well, he said it started in 96.
96, right?
So
25 years.
25 years. So 25 years to do this. We put a show together a while back just as a charity event, and that was difficult to do. Imagine doing a show, 3-4 shows a month. It's a big deal. It really is a big deal.
It's a lot of work. Now every Tom, Dick, and Harry can go in there and train a couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden, they're booked by some idiot promoter that has no idea what.
No, and I'm glad you said that, because back in the days, it was hard to break into the business.
Absolutely.
So if you listen to a lot of the documentaries, now we're fortunate enough to get all this, all these shoot interviews. Mm-hmm. But the business was a closely guarded secret.
It really was, and that's why Goliath, it took him so long to get us out there. I think he finally needed a little bit of money to make, so he gave in.
real quick, I have a little bit of a Cincinnati Reds story. Mm-hmm. So, as you were saying, any Tom, Dick, and Harry can get in this business now. I was like, that just reminds me of. I remember one day we're watching WrestleMania, and it's the WrestleMania that had Snooki in it. And
24.
Oh, I'm glad you know. Oh, by the way, this is Raul.
Raul?
Hey, man, how you
Yeah,
doing?
he ain't showing up.
Jesse Hernandez.
Yeah. And I remember watching that, and then the next day we watched the recap, and I was with Cincinnati Red. Cincinnati Red goes, Joe, it doesn't matter how hard you train, no matter what butt you kiss, no matter, how good of a wrestler you are in the ring, you'll never be in WrestleMania, unlike Snooki.
Well, that's the thing. Wrestling has to evolve, and wrestling is entertainment now. Because back when Jesse started, this is the school of hard knocks. This is what wrestling was built off, is hard knocks. You got legit freaking tough guys back in the days that were legit tough guys that if you met a dude in the bar, he'd crush your skull. They would crash beers, they'd party afterwards. It was a brotherhood.
Oh yeah.
And that's it, man. You hear all these stories now. We're lucky enough to hear these stories, but it was a closely guarded secret. Come on. Even to see Kane without a mask was a huge deal, and we had to read dirt sheets to know what was going on. It wasn't something that now it's like, oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
We expect to know what's going on. We can predict most storylines, and I can tell you who's going to win probably half of these matches.
Yeah, very true, man.
Absolutely. One of the best things that I got out of training at School Hard Knocks was confidence to actually be in a fight. I was scared to death to be in a real fight for the longest time. And then this guy and a few other assholes are like, no, get in there and go. So I grew the confidence to like not be afraid to be in a fight,
Right.
which I desperately needed. I'm not joking. I just like
This guy.
Since then, I've had sex.
Shut up, killer. No, but that's the thing. So when you started this, when you started wrestling, it was probably right around in your 20s when you started training. It was 29. Was it 29?
29 years old when I started training, and I was the year that I started that I had my first match. It was January. In August, I turned 31 years old.
And your parents was in the movie business.
Yeah, we owned the movie theater.
You own the movie theater.
Yep.
So and you would work the theater too, right?
I worked the theater, but I didn't get into wrestling until I got married.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to go to the matches, as a youngster,
Yeah.
And once I turned 18, I wanted to party, so I kind of left wrestling for
Did
a while,
you did you watch it on TV, and how did it come about to become a wrestler?
I watched it on TV. I was fascinated by it. I loved the older guys. The guys back then. I mean, they looked like professional wrestlers.
Right.
The guys now, the young talent nowadays. I mean, they don't look nothing like it. I mean, when you
True.
saw guys like, let's say even Bruce or Brody, which is back in the '80s
Right.
when I wound up wrestling him. I mean, that guy. He looked mean as hell.
Yeah, he was. He looked crazy.
He looked like a wrestler.
Yeah.
Now you got young kids that look like basketball players, brother.
Well, most of them, the culture is different because, like I said, like I was saying earlier, is the culture before we do a wrestling match, we would do the match and we would party afterwards, and we'd party just like Ric Flair is a big partier. You would see on the dark side of the ring that he was known as a big time partier, and these guys would basically. There would be no commitment to their family or wives because they would be on the road all the time. So a lot of these guys didn't have relationships. Right. So the culture today is more like, hey, let's play video games.
yeah.
Were
you on the road a lot, Jesse?
I was, working for WWE. Once I got my first match, it just everything opened up. Getting that first match was hard, very very difficult.
Right.
They allowed us to use the San Bernardino Arena, and because we were training there at out of appreciation, but they wouldn't even give us our first match. Even when Goliath thought we were ready, they still didn't want to take a chance on anybody messing up, in the ring. So we had to get our match somewhere else. Somebody wanted to use Goliath down in Tijuana, and they said he told them, look, the only way I'll work is if you give my boys an opportunity. Give them their first match, and if they mess up, you never use them again. If they do good, use them once in a while. So we went up there, and the first thing, Rey Mysterio, because we went against Rey Mysterio Sr. And this guy Pequeño Apolo, and Rey tells us, "Hey guys, we've been doing because we wore masks, and they looked a little bit Oriental. The first masks that we had, they looked a little bit Oriental, a little crooked, I guess, on the eye thing."
That's it.
My tag team partner made him,
Hitting the hard questions now.
Yeah. And so anyway, so he tells us, "Oh, we've been doing radio, and we've been promoting the heck out of you guys that you're a hot team from Japan." I said, "Japan? Goddamn, we're going into our first match."
Please.
I never heard this before.
Yeah, no. That's the honest to God truth. And so I told my partner, I said, "Hey, we can't act like rookies here, man. We got to really step it up." And that's what we did, bro. I mean, we went in there. I know he was nervous, but I was more used to being in front of people. Only working on the theater and stuff like that.
I got a big dick, whatever.
And my partner, his knees were shaking. And I said, and we had maybe 4,000 people in that building. And I told Juan, I told my partner, I said, "See all these people, man? They all shit, they all fart, they all, they're just like us, man. No different.
Right.
Don't be nervous, And he'd helped them a little bit. And then I think he punched Rey Mysterio, and a little blood came out of the forehead. Oh, brother! I went in there. I got on his forehead, and I'm shooing away like a son of a gun, spitting out blood. This is before
This is before AIDS.
I loved it. I loved being in the ring and performing, man. I really, really did. And once we had our first match, that's when everything opened up. We came back to San Bernardino, And Jeff Walton, we told him, hey, we had our first match. I'll hear about it. The next day he calls me, I want you in Fresno on Thursday and San Bernardino on Sunday.
No, that is crazy because, like I said, culture, like you promote a lot of the lucha libre culture. Okay.
Explain why we use lucha libre on the flyer.
Oh, I
That's
gotcha.
to draw the Mexicans, brother.
I gotcha.
You get a Mexican from coming in from Mexico, and
Yeah.
they look at something that says wrestling. They don't know what the
Can
hell
you-
that is.
Oh, I gotcha.
For
But
people
I-
that don't
I
know
learned.
English, what is lucha libre?
Lucha libre is freestyle.
Freestyle. Okay.
And so, but I learned that from working
Didn't
with
know
Mike
Spanish,
LaBelle,
my bad.
the old Olympic Auditorium.
That makes sense.
And they use the words because there's a lot of Hispanics in LA, right? So they want to make sure they get the Mexicans in. And so wrestling, lucha libre was always part of the flyer, and that's how that's why I used it. And sometimes I've heard people say, "Well, you're not lucha libre."
Oh, I gotcha.
We're wrestling, man. Wrestling
Yeah.
is wrestling.
Wrestling's wrestling with masks.
Yeah, but we want to attract more of an audience.
If I remember, like Jesse trains the American style, but because we're so close to Mexico, he will also give you tips and pointers on the lucha libre style.
Right, it is different.
'Cause-
More hold to hold.
Lucha libre. I'm not going to get into it because I'll just end up sounding like an asshole.
It goes all over.
The spots are like at least like I said, at least when I'm wrestling a little bit, isn't like 14 different holds in a spot. Like it's a lot, right?
Yeah.
To memorize.
Well, let me tell you, when I worked Tijuana, two guys drop kicked me at the same time. I'm going to go down, and I'm not going to get up for a while. I'm going to sell it, man,
Yeah.
and slowly come up, and then you can do whatever,
Right.
But I'm not
Right.
going to get up right away like a,
Yeah, that's-
spring right up.
that's a no-sell
makes
right
no
there.
Sense. Makes no sense.
I didn't necessarily want to say
Bret
that, but
Hart,
yeah,
yeah.
there's no psychology in lucha libre. It's just move, and improv.
The Rechus Dugan, who was a referee back in the day, he used to tell me, lucha libre, everybody going 100 miles an hour and nobody wants to sell. And lucha libre style, it's like there's no control.
Wild card, yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh, okay.
And it has no psychology. in it,
Psychology.
as far as I'm concerned.
You beat me to it, Jesse.
The tag team
I wrestled.
confusing.
Yeah.
I mixed it. I mixed lucha libre with American style, where it makes sense. Where it makes sense. There's a lot of I hate the fact that they give you a double backdrop and they expect you to get up right away so they can.
Oh,
do the
that's
drop.
right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
No, I want to sell that backdrop. I want
Right. Yeah. That's
If
it's
I get
kind
a-
of
if I
crazy.
get a drop kick-
It is. But it's more like acrobatic. I mean, because when you think of lucha libre, you think of like Mysterio, you think of Eddie Guerrero, and then they would be more like hoot and
The
toot.
border.
The border.
Mystico.
Is lucha libre still strong in Mexico?
It's very strong. Yeah, very strong. And the people are used to it. And and they what I hate a lot about the
Sin
lucha
Cara.
libre is that especially more so in LA area, they curse a lot. And I'm from that old school. Even the wrestlers that came from Mexico at the time that I started, they weren't like that, bro. Goliath had a word for that. These guys that do all the cursing in that ring he's called luchadores de rancho. Meaning from some ranch. Wrestlers from out of some damn ranch. That have no manners.
Yeah.
I mean, you got kids in the audience, brother.
That's right.
You have kids and you want to perform for them. You want the family to enjoy what there's. They don't want to be embarrassed.
that's
Taking
true.
their kids to the matches and then everybody just cursing away like that.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
It's not right.
So on that note, I have a question moving us a little bit forward towards the 90s. Jesse, the Attitude Era. How did you feel about the Attitude Era as far as WWF?
Say that again.
The Attitude Era, like how they were hot-shotting constantly?
Yeah, that's something that some of the guys did, and what was I gonna say?
You're seeing wildness all the time.
It was getting out of hand a little bit.
Okay.
It was a little crazy.
All right, well, so let's move on. So before we get on to what you've been doing for the last 15 years, I want to talk about your movie career. You've had a few spots in some movies.
Backyard
I have.
Dogs.
Yeah, Backyard. Should we go ahead and just start talking about Backyard Dogs, guys?
Let's do it.
Okay, Backyard Dogs is this weird movie that's about two backyard wrestlers who are trying to make it up in the backyard scene.
The Black Ranger.
Yeah, the Black Ranger's there. Walter Jones.
And he's handicapped, by the way.
Yes, he's missing a finger. And didn't you train him?
I trained both Both guys that
Okay.
came out. Uh-huh.
The other
Damn.
guy.
You're the referee, right?
And I refereed in the movie and stuff. And anyway, and then I played the referee, owner of the promotion, selling tickets and everything all at the same time, you know.
Free
and
carrots.
doing the ring announcing.
I'd ask for free salaries there.
Was it a good payday?
It was a very good payday.
That's good.
I was in charge of hiring, the local talent. For
Oh well, no, yeah. There are so many like wrestling cameos in that movie. I remember Kazarian's there.
Yeah.
He's like, "How about a trampoline match or something like that?"
Yeah, I got all those guys in there, man. And then with the director of that movie, we also did a training video because he was all into trying to make it easier to help the young backyard wrestlers all over the world. He did a lot of study, and we created a video for him. And showing the kids how to do take bumps and stuff like that, how to do things without them getting hurt.
I just imagine the whole video is like 10 minutes of him going, "Don't."
Stop.
Yeah, but it was a fun movie to work with. We had Crazy Casey. You met
Yeah.
Crazy KC, man.
Casey was
Jeez.
on there, and
Moses Grimm.
Moses Grimm was in there too as well.
Moses Grimm.
Yeah, so many. And Casey, for example, he we had Hayabusa working there.
Oh, yeah.
He called, what the hell did he call him in one of the scenes? Hibachi or something. He couldn't say Hayabusa. But anyway, Casey was kind of wild, and always talking,
Casey was wild.
and always creating his own lines, they gave him a line to do, and he created his own shit, and he was just crazy. Towards the end of the movie, on the last day of filming, I think it was a Suicide Kid. Did a drop kick from
Mikey.
From about 3 or 4 cars up. He did a big, he dove into the ring and gave him a drop kick, I think, right in the throat. And I told one of the guys that worked in the movie, I said, that should have happened at the beginning of the movie. We've been a little quiet here.
Dude.
When they had to put up with so much with Casey there.
And as we all know, the best part, we got to see some chi-chis in that.
Oh,
Well, that's my favorite.
we made that possible, I guess.
So, do you guys have any questions about Backyard Dogs?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
Shit, wow.
Young Jamie?
Yeah. Young Jimmy here. I was wondering. So you see a lot of. I was talking shit earlier. So you said you were in charge. So were they all like pretty trained wrestlers, or did he include like his own like Home Depot off the corner type of actors and incorporate them with your wrestlers?
On the movie, you say?
Yeah.
All the talent that I brought in they were all trained wrestlers and stuff, and we pretty much everybody that worked in the movie. Bo Cooper wound up in the.
Oh,
movie.
that's right. Bo Cooper's
Bo Cooper
there.
was there. About a lot of the talent.
No, that's pretty cool. See, so when I was watching it, I was wondering which one of these guys is just ready to kill the other guy on accident. There's a lot of that that goes around in federations where
there was one scene with Moses Grimm, and he gets hit in the head with a trash can, and those aluminum trash cans or whatever, they got that lining, right? Huh? And it ripped him right in the top of the forehead, on top of the head there. You just cut him up a little bit, man. That's the worst thing that I remember seeing.
What about Walter Jones? How was he to train and work with?
Awesome guy. First they brought in one kid, and he was some actor. I don't remember the name, but they brought him out to the school. Him and the other actor, not
the Black Ranger.
Not the Black Ranger, but the other one. And anyway, but this guy, he didn't want to do this. He didn't want to do that. He didn't want to take any bumps. I need a
Fucking
somebody
prima
go across
donnas.
the street and,
actors.
and bring me a soda or something. I don't know.
A stunt double or something? Or?
Yeah, this guy just wanted everything handed to him in a silver platter, but he didn't want to work for it. I told the director, I says, you know what, man, this guy, he's not
we have
It's no good.
We have some like that in our podcast.
Yeah.
We call him some guy because he doesn't deserve a name. But he's not here today.
But anyway, so they replaced his ass real quick.
Yeah, we're about to replace his ass too.
Jesse, so do you remember when we were extras on that movie Beyond the Mat, the one with Kurt Angle?
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
So did me or Justin Borden ever tell you what happened when we left?
No, what happened?
Okay, so Kurt Angle, like,
Blew him.
if Kurt Angle was to ever see me again,
Show me more
he would
blowjobs.
probably think I'm gay.
Exactly.
Here's why. So we were there for fucking hours doing nothing, and the wardrobe director said, "Hey, there's people are wearing too many black stuff. Could you wear this white shirt?" I said, "Sure." And then after a while, we were extras in the background for a minute or two, and then they were like, "Okay, it's dinner time." Everybody leaves, and me and Justin Borden were like, "Fuck this, let's go home. I'm done." I go back to the wardrobe place to go get my shirt and give them back their shirt. I take off the shirt, and Justin, bam, chops my belly, and I go, ooh. But then I turn around, and I see Kurt Angle eating a taco just like...
Oh, man, brother.
I was just like, hey, Kurt. He's all... So...
Letting you know he saw and heard.
Yeah. Just don't come near me.
I'm eating a taco.
Yeah. All right. So your biggest credit in movies is Ed Wood.
Ed Wood, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Brother, let me tell you that what happened. I was working for the city, and what happened was that Bill Anderson was Gene LaBelle was trying to get Bill Anderson in as a what was it? I believe as an announcer, perhaps, or a referee or something like that.
Okay.
So he sent a match with him announcing. And on that match, it was me against George Steele, and I was the intruder with the mask on.
Yeah, the intruder.
I was the intruder at the WWF match.
Yeah.
And so he sends that in, and of course he's showing him announcing. And what happened that when they saw that, the director, what the hell was his name?
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, he saw me, and he said, and he told Bill, have that wrestler send his stuff in. And so I send it in. So now I had to find a way to get Bill in there. As well, since I got my foot in the door,
So was he in
So
there?
yeah, he wound up, Gene LaBelle wound up doing the announcing after all. And then Bill played the referee on that movie.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he was the
I
referee.
need to watch that again.
He was the referee on that. And then I played the masked wrestler against George Steele.
However, you have a line and he doesn't.
I'll get you next week. I'll get you next week. Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. I totally forgot that was George Steele when I saw it because he looked much more bigger than he did when he was wrestling.
Right.
I was just like, that's George Steele? The fuck?
Clothes.
Yeah, close, and he's not eating the turnbuckle.
His
So,
chest is not exposed.
Let me kind of go over, like I said, the promotion more. Obviously, you have had it for 25 years. When dealing with a big group of guys, you're gonna have drama. You're gonna have all this stuff. I mean, like, how do you deal with all that? How do you overcome stuff like that? Because you're dealing with so many egos, and some of these dudes are alphas.
Yeah.
How do you deal with this?
I give them enough rope until they hang themselves. And that's pretty much
That's
how we do it, bro.
that's a good
Give
answer.
them, they mess up, okay, keep on doing it. Eventually, it catches up with them.
Like, I know obviously you're the owner of it, but you do have someone that runs the talent relations, so to say.
Yeah, the book.
So is that more like, do you kind of use him as like, the bad news guy? Like, hey, listen, this is the bad news, and if you want to talk about it more, you can let me know.
I've always felt that way, even there's always got to be the bad guy and the good guy. And I
Right.
play the good guy,
And yeah, I've rarely seen you lose your temper. It has happened once or twice, but it's never been like constant. So, do you think you have a short temper, long temper thing?
I have
When it comes to this bullshit of these guys,
I lose it, bro. When they piss me off, oh man, it's a different Jesse. It's a different Jesse than that.
But here's a question for you: is like, how have you been able to have so many shows so often? Meanwhile, most promotions barely have a show with 5 or 6 people. Like what is your secret?
My secret, man, is get them flyers out. I do
That is-
a
oh,
lot
that is
of
true.
walking, man. A lot of walking, a lot of work.
Even in his, I've helped him, and even in his age, he would be out in the fucking heat, and I would be too, and we'd be putting flyers wherever the fuck we could. And I remember, like, me and Dunbar. Remember Dunbar?
Yeah, no, of course.
We would just go like, why the fuck is he doing this? Yeah, like he has a bunch of peons.
Well, you know what? I trusted some. You know, I thought I could trust people, but you can't really. I had a bunch of guys go out and put flyers one time, and I went behind them, and they wound up in the gutter.
Oh.
You know, I even had a couple of nephews helping me one time, and I went behind them, and I opened up a trash can. There's some load of flyers there. You know, I did the work myself, man, to make sure, because I'm for getting new people in the building all the time. You can't just depend on the same fans to keep coming back on every single show.
Right.
You got to get the new people in, people that don't know that wrestling exists in that area, you know?
I've really noticed that the EWF, as far as, you know, your attendance has been real, even before COVID, was like the last 5 years, I want to say like your attendance has been really good.
Yeah.
Because even like before shows, like there'd be some shows that, like, you know, there'd be a decent amount of people, but like the attendance in the last 5 years, it's like wall to wall.
It's almost, it's always a full
Almost seems
house.
like it's a full house.
Yeah, our first show back at the San Bernardino VFW.
Oh, that was huge.
We drew 450 people.
I was there just to say hi. I was like, God dang, there's a lot of people.
People were hungry for it, you know? They wanted to see something.
Did you ever want to do anything bigger than EWF? Like or did you ever want to make it like Ring of Honor status?
Nah, not really. You know, I mean, it'd be hard to do with the talent that I have. You know, you'd have to spend money on bringing in bigger names and stuff to be able to draw like that. You know, like I said, I'm not out here to make it big. I'm out here to help the young guys, you know, make it in this business. And sometimes, and lately, I've been a little ticked off. I don't know. You don't see the post that I put on our personal.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh
no.
my God!
What'd you do?
Oh
What'd
my
you do?
God. Even on the podcast that I did yesterday, I really, you know, raised some steam on that one, bro. And you know, more than I usually do. I'm a little bit more calm today than I was.
Damn it,
yesterday.
Gadsden!
Oh yeah, it could be as
Yeah.
angry as you want in this
Yeah.
show. There's no rules in
I
this
just
show.
feel fed up, you know. The guys, young guys, you know, I created Hard Knocks Wrestling
Right.
for the sole purpose during the pandemic, because we weren't running, to give the young students, the young guys, an opportunity to get better.
Oh wait, you're
You know?
talking about those shows at the school?
At
the
the
ones
school.
just for the internet.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you know about this.
So I didn't know that.
He started doing online shows where, you know, there is a kind of a crowd, but it's wrestling matches, and there's a Hard Knocks champion. I forget who it is right now. I think it's Romeo.
Romeo's the champion.
Yeah, Romeo's a champion, and it's still for people that are too afraid to come out to for the pandemic. Pardon me, but still they can see something from
Yeah.
the EWF.
You know, and it's mainly for, you know, to so they can, you know, get used to the cameras and stuff like that, and I appreciate the guys that had already been wrestling to help the young ones come up, and you know, and by doing that, some of the young guys. There's one guy in particular that probably at this point he wouldn't have been he would not be wrestling EWF if it had not been for Hard Knocks, because that got him better. You know, it gave him a platform to do his thing and advanced him a little bit, that we're able to use him. And I mean, Nick Lash, what a hell of a wrestler he is.
Nick Lash is very good, very good.
Absolutely.
I was talking to him about a month ago. He cut a promo and he said, you know, I've lost thousands of matches. I said, bro, don't say that.
No, because
Who wants to see a loser? You can say you've lost a match or two. And then I told him, I said, I can tell Jesse and Jake want to put money into you, so you're going to be money for them. And he's
Absolutely.
like, really? He's like, yes. You know, you just can tell that kind of shit.
Let me ask you a question, Jesse. If I was, say, for instance, obviously you've seen many students, you know, throughout the time, you know, a long time. What makes a star?
What makes a star? You can be the best wrestler in the world, but if you don't have common sense, you're not going to go anywhere. If you don't listen to people trying to guide you, to make a good wrestler, you got to have guidance. I'm not going to mention any names, but there's a guy in LA running around that I think he will do good in Mexico. And but I believe that he needs a little bit of guidance, something that may not be getting, you know. And other wrestlers will tell me the same thing about him. He's very good, very very acrobatic, but he needs some coaching, you know. And I personally have a guy that I thought the world of, you know, but he got a little sidetracked by listening to other people. And his opportunities, instead of going up now, you know, I mean, there's a guy that very easily I could have put him, you know, get with a PWG and then, hey, give this guy an opportunity. But he chooses to, you know, to go out a different route.
See, that was actually going to be my next question. Like, how do you feel about the PWG style wrestling?
You know, I never cared for it, to tell you the truth. You know,
I'm with you actually.
You know, I never cared for it, but I do have to admire the hard work that they put in. And if you can hang in PWG, bro, you can hang anywhere in the world. You know.
I remember, I think it was probably the last time I did ring crew for PWG. I met Walter there, and I didn't realize he was a wrestler. I thought this was like some guy's friend, some wrestler's friend. And then I see him in the ring, and I'm like, holy shit. And Walter is probably my favorite wrestler in WWE right now.
Yeah. A lot of guys got their start there, you know. And that's a place where you know, you want to shoot for something like PWG, New Japan, if you want to make it in this business. You know, when you're fumbling around with the shit promotions, you know,
right?
It's not gonna get you anywhere, man. You know, you gotta prepare yourself for something bigger. You know, the opportunities are there. Look how many guys, man, have helped with a ring at PWG and then made it, you know. How many? Yeah. There's plenty of guys that have, you know, that started like that.
Let me ask you a question here. Now, I'm not too sure. Like I said, I want to ask. Obviously, there's a lot of people that train underneath you, and you've brought in a lot of people that have been a big deal in this business today. Do you act as an agent when you train somebody? Do you get a percentage if they go to WWE?
No, I don't believe in that. I don't know.
But does that happen?
It happens a lot.
What's his name? Rick
Bassman, I think. Well, I believe that he
did
took
that.
a percentage. A lot of people say that.
Because I've heard of it.
The Monster Factory. Charles. Actually, Papa Chango.
Yeah, Charles Wright. Yeah,
Charles Wright. You know, he will come out to the school every time that he was getting ready to go back to WWE or WWF at the time. He will always come out for a few weeks and train with us just to get the rust off of him. And he often told us, "Man, I wish I had known about this place before I put my money into the Monster Factory, where they take 30% of his wages.
30%.
That's nonsense.
That's what he told me. That's what he told me."
No, because I hear about that. I mean, obviously, if you're an actor and you have an agent that gets you a gig, it's a percentage of the money. It's like 10%. So I was thinking, I have heard it in the past where these schools will get you a tryout with WWE, and if you get signed, they get 10%. I think I want to see. I heard that on one of the documentaries of wrestling. I forget which one.
No, it might be Dark Side of the Ring.
No, it was.
No. I'm sorry. Might be Beyond the Mat, because
Beyond the Mat. You're right. It was on Beyond the Mat.
Name?
Roland Alexander?
Yeah, Roland Alexander, he did that.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, that's right. It was on Beyond the Mat.
I got to meet him before he died.
Yeah.
He was a nice guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jesse, we're slowly winding down. We still have like 10 minutes. Okay, yes or no, if you help train this person, okay? Just yes or no. Okay, that's right. Alex Kozlov.
Absolutely.
Rocky Romero.
Absolutely. I gave him the name Rocky Romero.
Right on. I'm gonna call him by what I know him, not by his WWE name, but Ryan Taylor.
Ryan Taylor, he was just a young kid, probably 14 years old when.
Was he? I thought he was like 19 or something.
No, when he started, he was very young. His grandfather used to drive him on. You know.
Shelly Martinez.
Unfortunately, yes.
Why unfortunately?
Well, you know.
Is it because of the porn?
No. Just, I mean, I met her at doing that movie, Backyard Dogs. That's where we'd run into her, and my guy started talking to her, and then she started coming out to the school.
She's got nice tits.
maybe so.
Yeah. Melina.
Ba-da-da-da-da.
Melina, of course, yeah.
Okay. T.J. Perkins.
DJ Perkins,
Candice LeRae.
Candace, she was very young when she used to come out to the school, but she was trained by a lot of people.
Yeah.
But,
I want to say there was was it Bill that had Cole gave Cole the ring? Bill Anderson?
Yeah.
It was Bill Anderson.
Gave him the ring.
Bill Anderson gave Cole the ring, and they actually started training out of their backyard for a while. I remember joining with them.
Yeah.
And that was actually Red Tornado that eventually worked in NWA Hollywood. He's a doctor now. Candice LeRae came out of that small little backyard promotion, and obviously Cole and his brothers. But yeah, that was I remember that stuff. I remember actually Candice LeRae wrestled with Richard
Beat the shit out of him.
and beat the shit out of him. I think this women in these sports have to prove that they're tougher than the guys.
Yeah.
And Candice is no fucking joke.
She makes full contact.
She made full contact and beat the crap out of him.
Yeah. She did.
I don't know how that story is about, but I know that that they had a ring. It was it was a fixer-upper. Actually,
That's a fixer-upper?
actually,
Bring around the loner.
The loner.
actually, they had a small ring that I used at one time because I had my ring set up in Anaheim for some big convention type of thing, and then I had a show with Ted DiBiase, and I borrowed the ring. They lent me that small ring that they had, and I mean it did the job for the show that we did with Ted over in Fresno, but they had that ring way before. I don't know. Bill bought a ring. I know he did buy a ring, but it was a different ring. It was
Yeah,
a
when he
50.
started his promotion.
When he started his promotion. But you're talking about a different ring, and I had no idea that Bill was involved with anything, giving or selling a ring
Yeah,
to them.
yeah.
I'm not-
Every
I'm not-
Christmas he gave away rings.
He gave away rings every Christmas time.
Okay, now I got two things for you, Jesse. Number one, so I remember, everybody knows this. This is just for the listeners. Well, when I first started training at the School of Hard Knocks, you had me do tumbling and run the ropes, and someone goes, "Oh man, he's caught onto this perfectly," and he goes, "There's some cocksucker in Riverside that's got a ring." But secondly, and this isn't meant to be like a harp on you, but this is just something funny that happened. One day we were doing the Lido Creek show, and it's me and Dunbar in the ring, and you had rented out your ring to somebody else, so you were using a lucha ring.
Oh god damn, yeah, that's real hard one.
And I remember we get in the ring and we're selling to the crowd, yeah, and I go to Dunbar, "I immediately regret taking this booking." But also you've had guys like Mikey Nichols, Shane Haste, Carl Anderson in your rings.
In my ring, yeah. I mean, I didn't originally train them, but they did come out and train with us.
Yeah, when you guys had that real hookup with the NWA, and they came up to the NWA house, and they were just real with you guys. But it was good.
Joe, bring up 5 random names back in the wrestling days that Jesse might know and ask him if they're assholes or nice guys.
Ooh, yeah. Are you down for that?
Go ahead.
Okay, JYD.
Oh, that son of a bitch. Oh, man. We were up in Phoenix one time for WWF, and he asked for a ride. Hey, I need a ride.
I think I know where this story is going.
And he went to some damn drug house to buy some damn drugs.
Oh,
Can you imagine if the cops would have showed up?
Jeez.
Of course he did.
Okay, Ultimate Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior. Well, there's good stories and there's bad stories. But,
What's one story you remember?
One story that I remember is that I appreciated his hard work. I mean, he was not the greatest wrestler, but he did attract people.
Yeah.
And I had just refereed a match between him and Honky Tonk Man over in San Diego. And, the excitement of him, just checking the ropes and the crowd, as hot as it was. And we were in the showers, and I told Honky, I said, man, I really appreciate the hard work that this guy puts in, I mean, thanks to him, we'll get a good payday out of this,
Of course.
And he says, yes, you need to let him know that because nobody tells him that,
Wow.
Everybody badmouths him, there was a lot of jealousy involved, and so I did. I said, Jim, I just want to thank you for your hard work, brother, I really appreciate it, what you do in that ring. And he looked at me and he said, "Thank you, Jess. Coming from you, that's a
cool.
hell of a compliment. Thank you."
I would laugh. You said, and he looked at me and said, "Don't talk to me."
Can I get a Coke? Diet?
He would be putting on that makeup, that paint, face paint. At the beginning, you can talk to him and he'd answer, but the more paint he put on his face, all of a sudden he ain't saying shit, bro. He's just getting into the character.
Yeah, he had done an interview where he said that, like, once he was in the face paint, he was in like warrior mode.
Another story on him was when he got that deal in Spain for $10,000.
Oh yes, I remember that.
And so then he called me and he says, "Hey, I'll be going to Spain, but I haven't wrestled in 10 years. Can I show up at your school and then get some of my rust off of me?"
Oh, jeez.
And he came out on Mother's Day that year, and RVD came out with, to help him out as well.
Yeah.
We used Russ Taylor. I had Taylor there to help out as well, and anyway. A few weeks later, after maybe a month or two later, he called and left a message. I didn't pick up the phone for whatever reason. I didn't hear it, and he left a 30-minute message, man. Just went on and on and on. I wish I kept it. I could make money with something like that. And
The longest message ever.
But it was a long message, and then he hung up because I guess he'd run out, and then he called again for another 20 minutes, and he just went on and on, talking about how he would love to go back to work for WWE, but under his own terms. He doesn't like what was going on. He wanted more of a kid-friendly type of show and stuff. That's what he was talking about.
I know what you mean. Yeah, and Chris Masters actually talked about that show in Spain on interviews.
Right.
Okay, because you brought him up, Honky.
I love Hunky, man.
Hunky's a good brother.
He's one of those guys that will tell it like it is. I've never had any problems with him. I used to use him sometimes, and
I remember, yeah.
I used
I've
him
been to a show,
number of times. And I remember one time I called and talking to his wife. He says, "Jesse, you're the only one that I won't. You don't have to send in advance or anything like that. We trust you, and unlike some other promoters." So that was pretty cool. And and he was great, man. With I put him against Rico, and he was glad to put Rico over.
I forgot to list Rico Constantine.
Rico Constantino,
who was in WWE as Rico, former WWE champion, or I'm sorry, WWE Tag Champion.
Tag champion, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Hogan.
Oh man, first time I met Hogan, I'm in the dressing room. I think we're the only ones that showed up early that day, and I'm in the dressing room, and he comes in. "Oh, how you doing? I'm Hulk Hogan." "Oh, I'm Jesse Hernandez." And then he seemed a little nervous. I swear to God, he seemed nervous.
You thought you were the cops.
And I says, "Hey,
the N-word.
and I says, what's going on, man? You seem a little uptight, a little nervous." "No, brother, they want me to wrestle as a baby face tonight, and I'm not used to that."
Really? You said
I
that,
swear
huh?
to God,
Oh, it's crazy.
And and I said, "You'll be fine," and the rest is history. But you know what, the son of a gun, I mentioned that story to him, and he had forgotten it. He couldn't remember ever saying anything like that. But it's a true story because
He's like, "Brother, I've never been scared.
Never been scared, brother.
Always eat my vitamins."
Well, let me ask you something, Jesse. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of wrestling?
Was on my what?
Your Mount Rushmore. Who's the four top out of all professional wrestling? Who's on your Mount Rushmore? What would they be?
Of all the top wrestlers, man, gosh, there's so many, bro. But as far as I'm concerned, I gotta put Goliath over, man. He was my trainer, and I mean, there's a lot of them that were on the top of my list. Freddie Blassie, back in the day, and man, there's just so many.
If you can name maybe five.
Five?
Give me 5 names.
Okay.
You had two so far. Give me 3 more.
3
F.
more.
Mary killed.
Freddie Blassie. Goliath. That's horrible.
No, man. You know what? Probably Victor Rivera. an old timer. And so the young guys nowadays, I think, gosh darn, of course, Hogan,
yeah.
Hogan
Hogan would have to
and
be on
Ric
there.
Flair, bro. Ric
Yeah,
Flair,
I think you're right.
Top dogs,
Yep.
top dogs.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, go ahead and finish your list of the 5, and I got a question for you.
He did. He finished the list.
Okay, good.
Can't you count?
Oh, fuck me, shit.
God damn it.
Count.
Now we have to edit it.
You're in a fight. You're outnumbered. It's 3-2. Who do you have on your back? 1, Hogan. 2, Flair. 3, Piper. Who do you have to have your back?
Piper, bro.
Piper. Yeah, that's not anything.
Piper,
Yeah.
I was going to say,
Hogan's a fake. It was a fake guy. He never got in a fight in his life.
Piper was a tough son of a
Piper
gun
was a
and a great guy.
son
You know,
of a bitch.
that should have been on my list. You know,
Piper. Yeah.
Flair is great, but look, Piper could go.
absolutely, man.
Piper will always be one of my favorites forever. hands
That's
down,
true.
so.
Absolutely.
That's true. Well, winding down. What do you? I mean, do you think WWE will ever be not the top company in the next, say, 10 years?
Who knows, bro? But you know, AEW is doing well. You know,
Yeah, they are.
they got a
They got a handful of your guys.
They got a handful. Well, not because of that, but I think you know they got a lot of money too.
Totally
But,
gone, yeah.
And Vince, you know, I mean, gosh, who knows if he'll be around in the next 10 years? You know, hell, I'm not even going to be around probably.
Do you think that most of what's going on in wrestling, do you think that that's like influence of Triple H and guys like him? Or do you think that it's Vince McMahon having his way only and people like that? Because AEW seems to be coming up, but is it because of more guys, I'm not saying because of you, but more guys who have trained with you and just been around in general, they're bringing all that with them when they come into AEW. And it's like their tool bag is just infinite.
Yeah,
Where
for
it's like in you know, you have WWE and it's like these guys, I love my old school wrestlers. I love old school wrestling.
Yeah.
But it seems like they don't want to get the hell out of the way when they know there's good talent coming up.
Yeah.
So I don't know your take on that.
Well, my take on that would be the talent that they got on AEW are hungry individuals,
Yeah.
and they want it bad. When you're working for WWE, I think a lot of them are walking around in eggshells, you know, afraid.
I agree.
Afraid to make.
I agree. 100%. That's well said.
Afraid to do or say the wrong thing, you know, because they're going to get fired. You know, they don't have the freedom that they might have over at AEW.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They're all nervous.
I 100% agree with that. But like I said, I think once that there's a new executive that took over, well, that makes this, calls the shots, and I forget his name. What's his name? Khan. Yeah, his Khan. Khan's a new executive over at WWE. I think as soon as they fired The Fiend and they took out Braun Strowman, like they took out a lot of the top guys and just fired them, that like, you're right, everybody on the roster is like, I'm not, I could sell merch and I could still be gone tomorrow. Because before it's like, hey, I could push merchandise. Like The Fiend was one of their top merchandise sellers.
Oh, look at the Hurricane.
And they said, hey, you know what? No one's unfireable here.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, everyone's like,
Yeah.
The Hurricane.
I'm good.
I think the Hurricane at one point was like top merch seller. And
Yeah, I think one of the reasons, it's just my thought. I'm not even sure if I'm right or wrong around this, but I do believe that they're getting rid of a lot of the talent that has kind of made a name for themselves out in the
Right.
indies, you know, and they don't want to change. You know, they don't want to make that change that they're looking for, you know, for them to make.
Yeah.
No, I'm used to doing it this way, and you know, so they'd rather hire young guys that's not going to give them any trouble.
yeah,
You know,
makes sense.
but I honestly I think the opposite, that they got rid of homemade stars. The Fiend was a homemade WWE star. Braun Strowman was a homemade WWE star. They got rid of those guys.
yeah,
All the guys that already had a name, like Adam Cole and all that, they like, see ya. Like Adam Cole could sell tickets anywhere.
Maybe they just want to cut down on the numbers.
It was
and
it was
the
the money. It was a
situation,
money
you know?
situation.
And maybe they want to sell out. Who knows, man? There's talk that Disney wants to buy.
Right,
it.
I thought so too.
It could be a mix of both.
Adam
Yeah,
Cole.
a mixture of both. I mean, you know, they just hired, not hired, but they got him out there for I don't know how many weeks. Miguel, this one kid, the Congo. He's in WWE right now.
You're fucking lying.
I'm not bullshitting you.
What?
He's been out there for the last, I'd say, maybe 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
What?
Maybe. And at the time that they let go for Russell Taylor, you know,
I thought
they bring him in.
That really pissed me off when they dropped Russ because they were about to push him,
Yeah.
and then they're like, no, not anymore.
Yeah.
And Adam Cole, he put out a statement saying like, why'd you leave? Is number one, they were going to bring him to the main roster, but as a manager. And yeah, it's like you would have Adam Cole as a manager.
He did done that.
Yeah, and then they had said to him, do you want to be a wrestler? Because if you want to be a wrestler, this is not the place to be. We make superstars.
Johnny Martin said that wasn't true.
What?
He was on the internet, and he said whoever make that is not true. That they McMahon offered him something that he didn't want, and then that's why he left. Because he knew if he went to AEW, he could do his character right. If he went up to
Right, I heard they want to change his gimmick a little bit
Yeah, I also heard they wanted him to cut his hair.
and
Which
cut his hair.
doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
But to be
Yeah.
a manager, he was like, that's not true.
Anyways,
Yeah.
all right. Well, any other questions for Jesse?
Yeah.
Sheds?
I mean, how long do you plan on continuing this? Or do you think you can continue?
Good question. How long?
The way I feel right now, I want to quit now, man. Too much bullshit, man. You know,
A lot of politics.
A lot of politics.
Here-
You
here's
know,
a
the young
question.
guys, you give them an opportunity, and then they don't know how to, how to. In other words, they think us older guys are full of shit.
You
Or
know,
something.
it's okay. I had a question I was going to ask you earlier. I want to ask it now before it gets too late. But so you mentioned it earlier. Actually, everyone here did. But back in the day, there was a lot of tough guys, right?
Yeah.
Came up, they wanted to wrestle. Nowadays, it's like you turn on the TV, and I get this feeling. I'm not saying it's true, but I get the feeling there's some mom or dad back there, and they're like, "You could do that, honey," and they bring them to your school, and they expect you to babysit them or some
well,
shit.
That's what I'm doing right now.
But it happens a lot in a lot of federations where you hear
it
people
does.
and they just are like, I don't know how to be mean or whatever. But I'm like, that happens a lot.
But-
Where, at least back in the day, it
I
used
hear
to
you.
be, know?
Well, it's almost like Jesse's school's like a karate. Like, hey, I want to go do karate.
Yeah.
Let's go here. But
back in the day, he had motherfuckers who wanted to do that.
right.
You know,
Right.
Back in the times when Mikey Henderson was around, Bobby Bradley,
Yeah.
those were tough son of a guns, man. Those were tough guys,
Yeah.
and they toughened up the young guys. I remember Rocky Romero. I love that guy, man. He was young, and he took a hell of a beating from. I think the guys really ganged up on him up there at a show that we did in Running Springs.
Okay.
and he took it like a man. He didn't complain, but after that day, bro, he had everybody's respect because now you slip. You hurt a young guy right now.
What'd you do that for?
They want to quit and they go cry.
Well, everyone's feelings hurt. That's the culture we live in, though.
right.
That's the culture.
they move out of the city and talk shit.
How
on
is
Facebook.
Mikey doing? How's Mikey doing now?
Mikey, the last I talked to him, he was running a like a nursery type of thing, with trees and whatever, and that's pretty much what he's was doing.
Right. It's been a while since to be honest with you, I know about Mikey because the Suicide Kid. Because back in the days when I was 16 years old, with me, Richard here. I want to say, was Joe with us too?
No, I
Okay,
wasn't.
Joe, DK wasn't with us, but I was about 15, 16 years old. I said, hey, I'm a huge wrestling fan.
Oh, it was some guy.
I want a wrestling party. And most of the cast here, we all have known each other for 20 years. We went to the EWF school. My mom contacted Jesse.
We still
He was
got
on
a cake
he
somewhere.
was on East Street.
Yeah.
And we went to the school, and he was nice enough to have Mikey there. Mikey, the Suicide Kid.
Yep.
And we got in the ring for the first time, and I was like, I never touched a wrestling ring, man. I was all pumped up. Right? I was like, oh, nothing what I expect. I'm like, man, this is fucking hard, right? And I was like, man, this is nothing. He's like, well,
the posters
he's all,
everywhere.
He's all, you know what Mikey told me? He's like, all right, what do you guys want to do? Fucking hit each other with chairs? He says, go crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but
no.
Here's the thing.
No, we fucked up. He said, so what is your guys' experience in wrestling? We fucked up and said, oh, well, we've done backyard. He immediately lost respect for us. Oh, fuck it. What do you guys want to do?
So that's what he said. He said, what do you guys want to fucking do? You want to hit each other with chairs or something? I'm like, and then I'm looking at Richard like, fuck, man. Well, we're gonna look stupid if we do this shit. Mikey, can you teach us some shit? Yeah. So Mikey's like, all right, go ahead and run the ropes. And we start running the ropes. I'm like, fuck this shit. So, like, Mikey was like he straight up just started body slamming fucking kids, and he started body slamming me, and then like he gave me like a cheap shot on the back. And then he was cool with us though. He was cool because he's like, yeah, man, you know, I'll be in the ring sometimes, and they pay me a little extra. He's all, I'll really fuck somebody up in here.
Oh, shit.
You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, shit.
I got
Kicking our ass
one
for free, though.
I got one for you. Okay, Jesse, back when the school was off of V Street, do you remember there was that girl that wanted to be the first female referee? She lived in Lake Elsinore.
I remember something, yeah, like that.
Dark skin, Mexican.
You want to know what happened? She was never the first referee.
Yeah.
Female referee.
What place did she come in again?
I remember her now.
Dead last?
Yeah. Well, anyways, Ryan Taylor made it his mission to get her the fuck out of there because he knew she would not handle it. So, like, he throws her into the corner and then gives her a knee, bam,
Oh my god!
and busts her eye open. But here's where it gets funny because she was talking to me constantly, like, "Oh yeah, this is." I remember one time I actually went all the way out to Lake Elsinore, picked her up, took her to a show so she could ref, only to piss off Russ.
The fucking enemy over here.
Because he goes, "Who the fuck brought that bitch over here?"
You just walk away.
I go, "It was me."
And that's the thing, dude. Like, Jesse, like, this place is on E Street. I used to live on E in Magnolia, and it's the hood. I mean, I grew up in the hood. So, yeah, E Street, this is truly the school of hard knocks, man. And I'll tell you, this roof used to have holes in the ceiling. Hold on. This rolls had... Remember that? Mikey used to do these damn backflips off the ring, and he would kick the damn stairs.
He would clip it.
It was like crazy. I said, what the hell? Why is there holes in the ceiling,
I
right?
was waiting for him to get stuck. He's all...
Yeah, dude, that was crazy.
So this is in the days of the Yahoo Messenger days, and so her and I were talking. She goes, "Joe, I've got something to tell you." I'm all, what? So, I've been secretly talking to John Cena, and I was like, "What?" And this is around his face rapper turn. And he's like, "Yeah, after every Raw, he talks to me." And like, what do you guys talk about?
Oh, no.
She's like, "Oh, we talk about, like the match that he had and this and the." And in the back of my head, I'm like, "You're so fucking stupid."
Somebody's catfishing you, lady.
Fucking Indian over there.
It turned out to be
I gave somebody the FU. He's just typing away. Yes.
I gave somebody the air for you.
The last conversation I had with her, she goes, "Oh, it turns out it's some guy in New Hampshire, and me and my mom are suing them for emotional distress."
Oh, no. Good luck. Good luck on collecting.
I was like, "You stupid bitch."
That's fucking crazy.
I don't mean to like call women bitches, but like that's
Too late now. You lost half the audience.
Okay,
That's right. Yeah,
I'm sorry, ladies. I'm sorry.
All right, they're back.
Filthy Joe.
They're back.
Anything else for Jesse, ladies and gentlemen?
I say, Jesse, go ahead and plug your promotion.
Yeah, let's go and plug the promotion. Anything you want to plug?
Anything.
Well, we have a show next.
Yeah, plug the show.
Yeah.
I have a show coming up.
He's got it all ready.
I got it right here.
You
Yeah,
liar.
that's true professional.
Yeah.
True
On the
professional.
16th, which is next Saturday,
We'll put the advertising in the thing
we
too.
will be at the Redlands Elks Lodge, number 583. It's at 663 New York Street, Redlands, California. Come on out. Go to Empire Wrestling Federation. There's plenty of flyers out there that, a lot of shows coming up. On the 23rd, we go back to San Bernardino at the VFW. We go back to Covina.
All right.
Finally.
Yeah, but not at KO, not at the
No?
Knights of Columbus. That's another story.
Oh shit!
This will be at the.
We gotta come back on for more stories.
This will be
Jesse's
at
full of
what is it? Alasta Brewing Company on
Nice.
in Covina anyway. But going back to Knights of Columbus, no, we're not going back to Knights of Columbus.
Like
they,
ever?
yeah, they supposedly, from what I understand, and I may be wrong, but this is what I've been told, that they got a lot of money during the COVID. And from the government, free money, fix the building type of thing. And now they want to raise the rent. Supposedly. But you know what? Here's what happened, man. Some fan called up the building, said, hey, when is the EWF coming back? And some jerk, some piece of whatever, that's now running taking care of the rent situation, renting out the place, told him EWF wasn't coming in. Were coming back anymore. Ooh. So that pissed me off, and I called the people there, and they kind of gave me the runaround, and then I told them, I said, man, for this guy not communicate with me and let me know what's going on, he should have at least had the decency to
no
call me
respect,
up. No respect whatsoever. So I said, I want my deposit back on the rent here. And once I got it back, that's when I put it out on Facebook and said a few things.
So you think maybe there might be a day where you will go back to Covina? Because that ain't that.
Once I get rid of that piece of whatever,
Yeah.
perhaps
that piece of whatever.
But I doubt it. I pretty much doubt it. I mean, in reality, bro, I was getting a little tired. That's a lot of work.
You got to understand that Jesse that runs this promotion in EWF, they have such a following there. That's where ECW Arena is in whatever New York.
That's what I was thinking. Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia is the same for EWF in Covina. They're just known there. All the people go there. It's people bring their families, and there's returning people that constantly go there, and they know they're going to see a good show.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So
I have a building that I'm looking at in Fontana, about 5 minutes from where I live. It's an Elks Lodge, and that's what I'm shooting for, to replace the Covina with.
Okay.
Right.
And hopefully it'll work out.
Well, it'll be an easier drive, that's for damn sure.
we'll plug all the stuff here. You guys could see it below. We'll go and show it during the the reloop. But anyways, guys, check out EWF for all the on Facebook and Instagram for all the future shows. It's a fantastic show. I have not seen a bad show yet. It's fun for the whole family, just like Jesse said. There's not a bunch of cussing. You're not gonna, it's a family-friendly show. And if you haven't seen Uday, you won't, because he's no longer welcome to EWF Wrestling.
He's bombed every show.
He's bombed every single show, but those shows, ever since they got rid of them, the attendance have been the highest it's ever been. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Jesse, for being on the show. I really do appreciate it. I hope you come back on the show, because really I got probably another couple hours of questions for you, because I know you got so much history in wrestling alone. So we really appreciate you coming.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Take care, ladies and gentlemen. Also, too, Popstar Nima, we don't have any time for you, but we'll get you next time. All right. Sorry about that. Thanks again.
Thank you, guys. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, man. We appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, I probably got another